Good morning and welcome to the episode 6 of the live market series on. Let's try this again. I'm so sorry. आज सुबह फिर से टेक्निकल इश्यूज हो गए एंड देन इट बिकम्स थोड़ा सा दिमाग यहाँ वहाँ हो जाता बट एनीवेज लेट्स कम बैक टू दिस गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू द एपिसोड 6 ऑफ द लाइव सीरीज ऑफ डेली मार्केट रिव्यू. ठीक है, वी गो लाइव every day at 8 a.m. until yesterday, but tomorrow onwards we'll try and go live at 5:30. आज I tried 5:30 पर हुआ नहीं, सुबह सुबह too many distractions. Okay, but why is it important? Because we analyze the market before it opens. Okay, and we all know कि last minute की revision कितनी important होती है हम सब के लिए. Okay, चाहे जैसा भी हो, the last minute revision is very very important. So again, today is a very important day for all our money. पिछले पूरे हफ्ते से हम देखते जा रहे हैं कि एवरी डे हैज बीन वन रोलर कोस्टर राइड. हर बार 1% मार्केट नीचे गिरते ही जा रहा है. सो आई एम हियर टू हेल्प यू टू फाइंड अ क्लियर पाथ थ्रू द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट वीक्स ऑफ द हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडियन स्टॉक मार्केट. इतना गिर गया कि मतलब बहुत ही गिर गया आदमी. ओके, सो if you feel worried, कि when to look at your screen and sorry, I just got a call, so thoda sa I got a little distracted, but again let me come back here. Okay, so if you're worried bhaiya, if you look at your screen and you feel really really worried, pura ka pura red hai apna portfolio, so you have a really good reason. Okay, in last 2 days, in last 2 days we have lost about 8 lakh crores of investor wealth and it has vanished completely. But today we are not just talking about falling prices. We are talking about the historical global rescue. अब ये देखना जरूरी है कि ये historical global rescue, will it be effective or not? And that is what we will do. In fact, what we'll do is we will analyze it completely based on math and nothing more. Okay. So yesterday on March 12th, one second. So yesterday on March 12th, International Energy Agency made a move we have never seen before. Okay. What it did, just one moment. So yesterday on March 12th, International Energy Agency made a move that we've never seen before. उन्होंने decide कर लिया कि we will release 400 million barrels of oil from their emergency stock, and that is the largest release in the history of the world. But will it be enough? So let us see whether this is going to be enough, and I will show you the proof because it matters to your wallets. Correct? So yesterday Nifty fell below 23,700 and Sensex lost to 76,500 level. So this happened because the world is scared that the war in Middle East has broken the oil supply chain, and in fact it has broken the oil supply chain. ठीक है, हम चाहे कितना भी बोल ले, हरदीप पूरी बोल रहे हैं कि we have enough oil reserves to last the whole 74 days. ठीक है, but the problem is that the supply chain itself has broken, and that is a bigger concern. क्यों supply chain break हुई? Strait of Hormuz की वजह से. Strait of Hormuz carries 20% of the global oil supply every day, which is a lot. 20 million barrels of oil is going through that on a daily basis. ठीक है. So the lesson for today is about emergency intervention. So when the world's biggest powers have to open their emergency oil lockers, it is a sign that normal market is no longer functioning, correct? So normal supply chains are not really working. So usually the price of oil is set by buying and selling in free market. But right now it is being set by the war and emergency rule. So har jagah we are paying war premiums. You will see the war premium exactly, it's being taxed on us. And as your sounding board, we are going to look at why this massive oil release might or might not stop the fall in your stocks. Let's look at the facts behind the global supply siege. So let's look at the scoreboard from yesterday before we actually move on and see how deep the scars are. Okay, so the numbers on close at March 12th, the Nifty 50 ended at 23,639. It lost 227 points or almost 1%. The Sensex closed at 76,034, losing 829 points. And if you look at the total for this week, the Sensex has dropped for more than 2,100 points in just 2 days. And this is the worst fall of 2026. Bank Nifty is in deep trouble, closing at 55,100 levels. When the banks are weak, the rest of the market cannot stand tall, right? And why are the banks falling? Obviously, because of the inflated oil and the resultant economic conditions that are going to be. But we will talk about those later as well. Right now, let's just discuss this. But the most important number for you that you should note is the volatility. Volatility hit 21.52. In fact, at certain point it was up to 22. And in simple English, इसका मतलब है कि the market is really really fearful, very very fearful कि भाई होने क्या वाला है. Volatility above means कि you should not be trading at all. It is high anxiety. Market can swing between 400 points very fast, within minutes. And we saw that yesterday. There was at least one candle which was more than 200 points on Bank Nifty. So what is the reason? The reason is global fear. Despite the news that 400 million barrels of oil is being released, Brent crude oil is still trading at $101. This is a big problem. $85 per, we were going to be in a problem zone. Today we are at 101. Okay, so 85 was already a red alarm on us. So it even touched $101.59 yesterday, but the point is that it has crossed 100. And the market is worried that the 400 million barrels is only enough to cover a few days of global use. Uske piche, there is a fundamental reason. The fundamental reason is very simple, that the oil released, which is the 400 million barrels, can only come at the rate of 2 to 3 million barrels per day. ठीक है, 2 to 3 million, वो 400 का 400 नहीं आएगा एक साथ, 2 to 3 million barrels ही आएगा एक साथ. तो इसका मतलब है कि तकरीबन half, let's say minimum 200 days it will take for us to get all that oil. So this leaves us with a big portion. Strait of Hormuz se har din 20 million barrels of oil was coming. And here from International Energy Association, we are going to get 2. So 18 million barrels of oil every day is going to be a shortfall. So dekhte hain ki how is that going to impact us? I mean, we are seeing how is it impacting already. Okay? So the Indian rupee fell to 92.32 against the US dollar. A weak rupee makes everything we buy from other countries more expensive. For every $1 rise in the oil, we are going to pay $2 billion extra per year. Now that is a big blow to profits of Indian companies. Okay? So let us move from big oil tanks to the gas cylinders in your colony, in my house. Okay? And we see how the shortage in Qatar is hitting your stock portfolio. So kal tak everything was all right because oil is, we have a supply chain, an alternate supply chain of oil, jo humko, which could have carried us through. Lekin the bigger problem is gas. We saw Qatari gas crisis because some drones struck their facilities. Qatar has declared a force majeure. Force majeure क्या होता है? Force majeure is a very simple way of saying कि भाई आपने चाहे मुझे पैसा दिया हो, आपके साथ मेरा contract हो, but I cannot send the gas to you because there is a war. What does this mean? There is a gas shortage in India. India gets 45% of its gas from Qatar. Okay, and yesterday companies like GAIL and Petronet LNG had to tell their customers to cut their gas use by up to 40% because unko supplies nahi aa rahe hain. So that's going to be a problem. So when a company cannot move its product, it cannot make a profit, and that is why these stocks, the GAIL and all the Petronet LNGs, were under heavy pressure yesterday. The other problem that we also spoke about yesterday is the fertilizer protection. So gas ki वजह से the fertilizer production will be hit. Lekin what government is saying government said whatever gas is available must go to fertilizers plant first. Why is the government saying that? It is quite simple, very very easy to understand. Fertilizer नहीं बनेगा तो food नहीं बनेगा, food अच्छे से नहीं आएगा तो हमारे food prices will go up significantly, which will mean that there is going to be a significant inflation, and significant inflation की डर की वजह से सारे के सारे banking stocks and everybody is going to go down because inflation is like a big problem. Rate cut सब बंद हो जाएगा. So those are those issues that are related to inflation, and inflation is directly related to gas, and gas is directly related to Qatar. तो देख लो ये link of chain है, ये बहुत ही simple establishment है, correct? So car stocks like Mahindra and Mahindra Maruti were some of the biggest losers yesterday, falling more than 3%. When petrol and diesel are expensive, people do not buy new cars. And if they were going to buy new cars, it was only because of the CNG, or CNG bhi nahi mil raha. So this is a very simple rule of the market कि ये नहीं होने वाला. Okay? आज के लिए what is the strategy? The strategy for today is कि Sensex का support is 75,860. If it breaks this today, the market could fall further because people do not want to hold stocks over the weekend. Nobody wants to hold stocks over the weekend. So आज के दिन we will see a great amount of weakness in the market. We can see because there is, because अगर आप देखोगे global markets also, I'm going to talk about the global markets as well in some time. Global markets also fell strongly. तो weekend पर क्या होगा किसी को पता नहीं है. ऐसा हो सकता है कि इराकी वॉर बंद हो जाए और ऐसा हो सकता है कि ना भी हो, लेकिन द पॉइंट इज कि क्या वॉर बंद होते ही सप्लाई चेन रिस्टोर हो जाएगी. दैट इज द बिग प्रॉब्लम एंड आई थिंक दैट इज वेयर एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग टू स्टार्ट. So I would suggest that we should stay cash heavy today. And in a storm like this, having cash is your best defense. Cash को भी एक investment मान के चलो. Do not think of cash as no investment. कैश पड़े पड़े अगर आप पैसा बर्न नहीं कर रहे हो, इसका मतलब है कि अगर आप पैसे लूज नहीं कर रहे हो तो भी फायदे में हो. इट इज मोर, नॉट लूजिंग मनी इज ऑल्सो अ ग्रेट स्ट्रेटेजी. सो प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट when the VIX is above 20, anyways, you should not be investing. और अगर आप invest कर रहे हो तो be very careful that you just survive. Do not lose your money. And let's see what is going on now. What is happening globally? Okay. Just when we thought that the trouble is done and it's only about oil, there are trade headlines hitting from America which are going to hit the Indian exporters. So there is some investigation that Trump has ordered, okay, and I think we must know about that. What he said, the US trade representative yesterday launched a new investigation called Section 301. They are looking at 16 countries including India. ठीक है, तो यूएस is checking if India is helping its own companies too much to export things like steel, solar panels and chemicals. अब ये मतलब इट्स अ हॉग वॉश. ऐसा लगता है कि ये जबरदस्ती की कुछ एक इन्वेस्टिगेशन खोल दी है जिसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं थी. एज ऑफ नाउ nobody wanted it. There is too much of shock in the market, but unfortunately we see that this investigation is going to start. So how does it affect your money? If the US finds that India is unfair, then they can put heavy tax on Indian goods. तो बस वो अपने लिए एक रास्ता ढूंढ रहे हैं, कोई जरिया ढूंढ रहे हैं जिसकी वजह से they can tax us heavily. तो ये ऑयल का क्राइसिस खत्म हुआ नहीं है, उससे पहले ही हमारे पास ऑलरेडी एक नया क्राइसिस डेवलप हो रहा है. सो यू अगेन कमिंग बैक टू इन्वेस्टर्स, be very careful about going into new stocks or taking new positions in the bullish side of things. As of now, market has not shown any trend which it can reverse. So buying a dip is a great strategy, but buying a dip in a falling market is a very, very risky strategy because you never know what the bottom is. Correct? तो अगेन आपने जो भी पैसा मंडे को लगाया वो ऑलरेडी 3 से 4% नीचे है. सो थिंक अबाउट इट लाइक दैट. ठीक है, पैसा again, okay, the market is worried कि हमारा export profit will drop if the US adds new taxes. Now this is just news, ये अभी तक हुआ नहीं है, but basically US ने ये investigation को अभी खोलने की कोई जरूरत नहीं थी. There was no need after they have created so much of issue in the global market because of their stupid war on Iran. This is my personal view. You might justify the war, but I do not because मुझे कोई logic नहीं समझ में आया. No problem. But that is fine. Let's talk about the US market yesterday. US market yesterday had a really bad day. The Dow Jones fell 1.6% and S&P fell 1.5%. Even the Nasdaq fell 1.8%. This happened because US inflation is staying high. The oil prices are scaring the global investor, and it is the global energy and trade war. For an Indian investor, it means you should stay away from companies that sell a lot of their goods to the US for a few days until we see how Indian government responds to this. Okay, so no problem. सब जगह से खराब ही न्यूज आ रहा है, लेकिन the thing is कि you are prepared. At least before the day we are prepared कि भाई हमें दिखने क्या वाला है. Don't expect nothing new. ऐसा कुछ होने नहीं वाला. ट्रम्प ने ऐसी कोई चीज नहीं बोली जिसकी वजह से एकदम से कल से सबको तेल मिलना शुरू हो जाएगा. So again, don't be emotional. Don't be क्या बोलते हैं stuck to one strategy of buying to dips. Please think more than whatever that you're doing, उससे ज़्यादा करो, ज़्यादा सोचो. ठीक है? So before I take, so again, as I told you yesterday also, and somehow I'm not able to give you the best experience because मेरे पास हर दिन कोई ना कोई technical issue आ जाता है. But I'm sure I'm gonna tide over this. But basic thing is कि ये जो whatever I do at early in the morning, say 5:30 or 8 a.m. or whatever the time be, it is a pre-market strategy. Pre-market का मतलब ये है कि I will tell you कि भैया ये how is this market going to behave, what are the expectations, what are the key levels to watch, etc. Okay, and what happens is that I get questions by all of you over the weekend, over the day. जैसे मैं अपना email अभी publish कर दूंगा and I have different channels, so people send me questions. So I take about 6 to 7 questions before the market, and I'm just going to put my email ID here. If just in case you feel like sending me a question. That's my email address. Please send your questions to me. Okay. So before I start to the questions, let us see what is the big institutional money is doing and what are they doing. Okay. So let's look at the money flow from March 12th. The foreign investors sold over 7,000 crores yesterday. In fact, they have sold more. This is just the net figure. They are leaving because they are scared of our new US trade rules and weak rupee. Rupee has come to 92.62. Just 3 weeks ago, it was at 92 point something. And 92 is a natural level, but still 92 is a lot compared to 83 that we were at some months ago. Our local Indian institutions, DIIs, bought 7,400 crores. Ab ye DIIs, why are they continually buying? I don't understand why are they buying. I think every time DIIs are trying to buy a dip because they think that's the best way of investing, but I do not agree with that because again, like I said, डिप तो होता रहेगा यार, कितना डिप करेगा, तो हमारे ये दिमाग में क्यों भर दिया है कि हर बार एक डिप पे खरीदो. फंडामेंटल डिप है, फंडामेंटल रीजन है, तो क्यों खरीदने की जरूरत है, मुझे नहीं समझ में आता. मे बी यू अंडरस्टैंड बेटर देन आई डू, दैट्स फाइन, नो प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है, सो नो इश्यूज, but I feel that DIIs should not be buying and let the floor crash. ठीक है, the only reason the market did not crash even further was only because DIIs were buying. अब उनके उसमें क्या इंटरेस्ट है ये मैं समझ नहीं सकता, बट सिंपली फ्रॉम अ फंडामेंटल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दिस इज नॉट अ बाइंग मार्केट. देयर इज नो नीड टू बाय. ओके, देयर इज, बट दे जस्ट कीप बाइंग. And we, because of this, are in a volatility trap. The price goes up when the Indians buy and it falls when the foreigners are selling. It is a constant tug of war between these FIIs and DIIs, और जिसकी वजह से this market has been sideways for more than one and a half years. How can the fundamentals be different for one set of researchers and be completely different for different set of researchers? ये is a question you must ask yourself as well, कि सारे के सारे जो DI हैं वो आपको सच बता रहे हैं कि नहीं बता रहे हैं. Is your investment really making the money that you wanted to make, or it is not? We can have a frank discussion. I'm ready to have that, but not now. Okay? Let's speak. I want to speak to you directly. I feel like that is the best way of doing it. And मुझे लगता है कि everybody feels, you know, little bit tensed कि if your portfolio is in red, ठीक है, you might feel like कि सब कुछ मैंने mistake कर दिया, मेरा इतने दिनों से मेरा सारा पैसा, it is not going to make me any money. But I want to tell you that कोई भी permanent decision ना करें based on a temporary feeling, because ये जो world has seen many oil crises before, so this crisis will also go away. So जरूरी नहीं कि ये crisis will continue and you will not get any more chances to invest in the market. But the fact is that you must invest only when the market shows you a trend change, instead of thinking कि मैं अभी कर देता हूँ and then ये जो होगा वो दिखी जाएगी. So राम भरोसे वाला investment मत करो. If you feel too much stress, turn off the computer. Peace of mind is worth than any stock price. ये तो हमको पता ही है. ऊपर से आज फ्राइडे है, तो भूल जाओ क्या हो रहा है अभी. जिसका तेल उसकी प्रॉब्लम, जिसका स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मोज उसकी प्रॉब्लम. Let's just forget about it. ठीक है. So now I'll move on to the questions. Thank you for everybody who has joined in today. I would like to make this a grand, something that everybody of us looks forward to. मुझे अच्छा लगेगा if I get more and more people and more participation. I already have a few amount of participation, but I would like to get more from you. So yes, I'm here for you. आपको जब मन करे, you can just log in, or you can watch this video before 9:15 every day. Even if you're watching it after, don't worry, it gives you a flair कि क्या होने वाला है. ठीक है. So let me take some questions and see कि if I can answer some questions for you guys or not. Remember, questions are also very important. अब आप बोलोगे भाई क्वेश्चन क्यों जरूरी है? क्वेश्चन जरूरी है क्योंकि क्या होता है कि हर चीज जो है मैं कवर नहीं कर पाता. So questions are important because अलग अलग लोग अलग अलग चीजें पूछते हैं, and maybe they are repeats, but what it does is that it gives you a confidence about what this market is going to be today. ठीक है. So what is question number 1? मनीष जी कह रहे हैं कि यूएस रोज 400 मिलियन बैरल ऑफ ऑयल रिलीज कर रहा है, तो ये फिर भी ऑयल का प्राइस क्यों बढ़ रहा है? तो मनीष, दिस इज द मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन. कहां से यूएस 400 मिलियन बैरल ऑफ ऑयल रिलीज कर रहा है? मतलब यूएस की टोटल प्रोडक्शन भी नहीं होगी इतनी, और रोज 400 मिलियन बैरल ऑफ ऑयल. ये दूसरा, द न्यूज इज कि इंटरनेशनल एनर्जी एसोसिएशन हैज डिसाइडेड टू रिलीज 400 मिलियंस ऑफ बैरल्स ऑफ ऑयल इन नेक्स्ट डेज टू टाइड ओवर दिस ऑयल क्राइसिस. ठीक है. तो मैंने पहले भी मैथ समझाई कि ये 400 मिलियन वो एक साथ रिलीज नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज उनके पास फैसिलिटी ही नहीं है, फिजिकली इम्पॉसिबल है. दे कैन ओनली रिलीज 2 to 3 मिलियन बैरल्स ऑफ ऑयल, और दिन में शॉर्टफॉल 18 मिलियन है. सो इसी वजह से ऑयल का प्राइस बढ़ते जा रहा है। दूसरी बात, ऑयल का प्राइस इसलिए बढ़ रहा है बिकॉज देयर इज रिस्क प्रीमियम। जो ईरान है उसने बोल दिया कि हम यहाँ से 1 लीटर ऑफ ऑयल विल नॉट लेट मूव फ्रॉम दिस स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज, विच इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम, बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। सो दैट इज व्हाई द प्राइस ऑफ ऑयल इज गोइंग अप। So we will see if that comes down in some good question. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Second question is Khan साहब कह रहे हैं, मिस्टर खान कह रहे हैं लखनऊ से कि गेल shares fell a lot yesterday. Should I sell them before they fall more? तो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड कि गेल के शेयर्स क्यों गिरे। गेल के शेयर्स इसलिए गिरे खान साहब की बिकॉज ऑयल की जो क्या बोलते हैं सप्लाई है, या सॉरी गैस की जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है वो इफेक्ट हो रही है। सो इन द शॉर्ट टर्म गेल के जो प्रॉफिट्स हैं वो इम्पैक्ट हो सकते हैं बिकॉज गैस नहीं है उनको देने के लिए, लेकिन ये एक शॉर्ट टर्म प्रॉब्लम है। तो इसकी वजह से आप अपना क्या बोलते हैं ये मत बेचो, स्टॉक्स मत बेचो। ये मतलब इट इज इन अ पैनिक मोड, ये करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि आपको ये अपने सारे के सारे स्टॉक्स बेचने की जरूरत है। सो गैस शॉर्टेज रियल है, लेकिन इट इज नॉट लॉन्ग लास्टिंग। दुनिया बदली नहीं है, थोड़े दिनों के लिए चेंज हो गई है। तो जरूरी नहीं कि अगर आपको आज पैसे नहीं चाहिए तो आपको इमरजेंसी में ये स्टॉक्स बेचने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। ठीक है, ओनली इफ यू नीड मनी मे बी यू शुड बी सेलिंग। ठीक है, थैंक्स लॉट। आई थैंक यू फॉर योर क्वेश्चन खान साहब। I appreciate your time spent with us. Okay. Third question is from Ritika. Ritika is a new investor. Okay, good, Ritika. Welcome to this market. She says ki is the section 301 thing everyone? What is the section 301 everything is talking about? Section 301, Ritika ji, is just a fancy name. ये US वाले कुछ ना कुछ नया करते रहते हैं। ये Trump administration has been one of the most non-dependable administrations, at least economically, from a point of view of policy. ठीक है, वो लोगों ने कुछ एक नई चीज निकाल दी है। उन्होंने बोला कि we are now going to observe 16 markets, which is including India, कि वो if they are क्या बोलते हैं, if they are giving local subsidies to the people who are exporting to the US, which means कि अगर कोई इंडिया की कंपनी है जिसको मैं इंडिया की गवर्नमेंट ने लोकल सब्सिडी दे दी तो उसकी प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट कम हो जाती है, एंड विच इज व्हाई इट इज एबल टू सेल इट्स प्रोडक्ट एट अ लोअर कॉस्ट इन द यूएस। तो इसका मतलब है कि किसी और कंपनी को जो एनीबडी एल्स जिसको ये गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से सब्सिडी नहीं मिल रही है उनको ये इट बिकम्स अ डिसएडवांटेज। तो ये यूएस गवर्नमेंट ने इसके ऊपर इन्वेस्टिगेशन निकाली। नाउ इट जस्ट आई डोंट थिंक दे आर they need to do it, especially जब उन्होंने एक ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट हमारे साथ ratify करा था, तो they must have seen all of this, but it is I don't understand why Trump is behaving the way he is behaving, and sorry, that's 20 minutes, so no problem, but let's move on. I hope that answers your question. Okay, cool. The fourth question is from Mr. Aditya Tyagarajan from Chennai. He's saying ki why is India VIX so high today? India's VIX is very high. It's at 22, almost 22, 21.8 to 22. The reason is because everybody is nervous. Bhai, sab kuch, the oil supply chains have moved, the gas supply chains have moved. It's very important to understand कि gas जो है वो ऐसे हमारे घर में जैसे नॉब बंद करते वैसा नहीं होता। अगर किसी ने कतार ने अपनी गैस की रिफाइनरी बंद कर दी है तो उसको शुरू करना इज नॉट लाइक कल शुरू कर देंगे। इट्स अ प्रोसेस। तो अगर हमारे पास कोई ऑल्टरनेट सोल्यूशन नहीं है तो वी विल बी इन अ प्रॉब्लम। इसीलिए गवर्नमेंट इज ऑलरेडी एक्टिंग। द गवर्नमेंट इज एटलीस्ट स्मार्ट इनफ टू स्टार्ट एक्टिंग बिफोर द एक्चुअल क्राइसिस हिट्स। सो देयर इज अ क्राइसिस कमिंग अनलेस दिस रिफाइनरी स्टार्ट्स राइट नाउ। इवन इफ इट स्टार्ट्स राइट नाउ हमको फिर भी प्रॉब्लम होगी, एंड विच इज व्हाई देयर इज a nervousness in the market, and nervousness in the market is the cause of VIX, fearfulness, nervousness. So India's VIX is very high. Additional feedback to you is ki please do not trade in this market. It's not a great market. Whenever the VIX is more than 20, you should not be trading. Okay, great. Let's move on. I think it's my last question from today, which is last question is from Suresh. Suresh ji Jaipur se keh rahe hain ki is it a good time to buy gold instead of stocks? Gold instead of stocks. Is it the right time now to buy gold instead of stocks? I feel Suresh ji, ये एक बहुत ही मुश्किल सवाल आपने मुझसे पूछा है, बिकॉज गोल्ड इज ऑलरेडी एट इट्स हाई एंड रिट्रीटिंग, बहुत ज़्यादा हाई पर जाके रिट्रीट हो रहा है. तो गोल्ड की जो मतलब मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग और द वे आई अंडरस्टैंड हाउ गोल्ड वर्क्स इज दैट गोल्ड इज एट अ रिस्क. जब ग्लोबल when there is a global risk, global war risk, war premium होता है. It's not global supply chain risk. So global is not an alternate investment when there is a economic crisis. It is an alternate investment when there is a actual war like situation, when there are people are going to fight. So इसीलिए what we have seen is कि because the dollar is strengthening, the gold went up to its highest point and has been retreating since then. So basically, to tell you that gold is now the right investment, I will have to work on that and understand. I had previously said that the gold is a good investment, but then gold was at $4,000 per ounce. Today it is at $5,100 per ounce, and now I don't feel so safe in telling you that gold is the best investment option as of now. But what I can tell you is that liquid funds are also your best investment policy. They give you up to 7% return every year. 2026 में इतनी volatility के बीच में there is no need for you to be investing in any of these volatile investments. You could probably just be sitting on a liquidity investment and earn 7% from it. I don't think it's going to be a big deal, right? So that's what my opinion for you is. Cool. So एक फनी क्वेश्चन भी है. एक दीपक जी फ्रॉम मुंबई, ही जस्ट पुट इन अ क्वेश्चन. ही सेज कि शुड आई इग्नोर द मार्केट एंड जस्ट गो फॉर अ वॉक? Deepak ji, it's a Friday, so going for a walk on a Friday is always a good point of view. So I think yes, please ignore the stock market and go for a walk. कुछ भी मत करो, सोचो ही मत उसके बारे में. Walk तो क्या, you can start your party today and party for next 2 days until we have Monday. Monday तक अगर ट्रम्प का मन मचल गया तो ठीक हो सकता है, कुछ नहीं मचला तो गड़बड़ हो सकती है. But anyways, the maths is not on our side. The market is not going to move very strongly in any one direction and stay there. In fact, अगर चला भी गया तो stay नहीं करेगा because there is a problem. ठीक है. So no worries. This is what I had, 7-8 questions, and we will, and I'll stop now. So, but before I go, small conclusion. That we have a heavy Friday ahead. The world is releasing oil. The US is starting trade wars, and our gas supply is under pressure. But remember, every crisis eventually ends. So today's levels are 23,600 for Nifty and 75,800 for Sensex. Do not trade with your emotions today. And if you want the summary of Section 301 trade probe, maybe just write to me and I will explain that to you in some other video. But remember that I am your sounding board. In fact, me and my team are your sounding board. If you want to make any big decision today, please post us a message or an email, and we'll be more than happy to help you with that. And the last thing is that I'm live 2 times every day, 9:15 to 12:15, just speaking in between 15 minutes, looking at the charts and telling you how this is going to go. So you can connect with me at that point, या फिर आप 2:30 to 3:30 वाले सेशन में आ सकते हैं. So it depends on how things work out. But if you would like to do that, otherwise ये मेरा day का daily तो चलेगा ही चलेगा. Tomorrow I'll be live again until I finish, trying to do a weekly summary, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, but we'll put that out as it comes to you. So have a great morning. Enjoy that toasty sunshine. थोड़ी सी गर्मी ले लो, because अगर आप market में trade करने वाला तो आपको बहुत गर्मी वैसे ही मिलने वाली है. So thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.